We have created a generation of Ted Kaczynskis, and there is no undoing this. Today, men in America live in isolation, in apathy, in complete indifference to their surroundings and their countrymen, and I can't really blame them because when you have these guys who've went their entire lives and they haven't been shown any real community or affection or conveyed any sort of importance, what the hell else are they really going to do except like drown in apathy, cope endlessly, and burn down the village which refused to give them warmth? There also just doesn't seem to be any guidance. There is no real plan in any of this. It's just like survival of the fittest, except it's like some sort of pseudo Darwinian l- like mouse utopia experience. It doesn't make any sense to just like let hundreds of millions of people just kind of run amok with no guidance who are obviously struggling and just offer them not a hand. It really just sounds like a recipe for disaster. It just sounds like a really bad idea. Guys are going to get into drugs, get into crime, get into ideology, get into politics, political violence, and it's just really not great for anybody. Uh, Adding to the pressure is the constant rising cost of living, the constant inflation, record high layoffs and unemployment, and it's all being denied by the current regime. They don't seem to be really interested in solving any of these problems. They seem to just be denying them. And what is the hope for like anyone who's kind of struggling out there where it seems like you should just expect for fucking things to only get worse and worse as time goes on, as the problems can't be acknowledged, apparently, in this new America. But just because they're not acknowledged does not mean that they do not exist. You will feel it in your wallet, you will feel it in the pit of your soul, you will feel it in your barren communities. You'll feel it in many different ways when you just leave the house or even inside the house. And generally, back to my Ted Kaczynski point, is that we have hundreds of millions of pseudo proto Ted Kaczynskis walking around, men who are just like total schizos, who are avoidant, who are disillusioned, who are frustrated, who hold a grudge against the powers that be, whoever that may be. Um, It's not good news to just have like lots of people like that walking around, these men who've been humiliated and ignored and just kind of really neglected. And some of these men are quite intelligent, and some of them, years of isolation literally can like rewire how your brain works, and they could be quite violent. And I don't see anyone really talking about that, or they just don't really think it's a problem, but I don't know. I think it's a major problem that we have like a bunch of like Unabombers in the future walking around today that could have easily been prevented just with like I don't know some type of fucking high school intervention or something. I don't know, but they're here. They're out there. There's millions of them. You probably fucking work with some of these guys. You see these guys at the grocery store. You see these guys driving around at night aimlessly. You hear about like random vandalisms in your neighborhood or your city, and I think these people are kind of responsible for that. And I'm not sure what the fuck can really be do about it now. I feel like they're probably a lost cause by now. Um, who knows, man? Maybe. Uh, I don't fucking know. I'm just rambling, just thinking. America is a wilderness. America is not a society. America is not a country. America is a piece of nature that lets people live there. Don't be hypnotized by nationalism or patriotism. We are still in the jungle. This is a wilderness that you have to endure and survive. When you go outside, people they they're not invested in your well-being or your survival. It's not that different from organisms in the Amazon jungle. Like, yeah, you kind of like coexist together, but you're definitely not on the same side. You definitely aren't like codependent or cooperating here. There's a lot of competition actually. And this is it's a very cold world out there. If you are a guy who doesn't have any real value or charisma or physical attractiveness, there's not really much of a place for you. You're kind of just out here on your own, like in some fucking survival horror game, some single player game, because you don't have any followers, you don't have any companions, you don't have a guild, you don't have a faction. You're just kind of out here, just kind of doing the best you can to survive, really. And I think you really do have to find your own purpose or calling in this wilderness. You need guidance. You can't just drift. You can't just like drown yourself in copes. You might as well fucking rope if you're gonna do that. Because like that's just like the path to hell right there. You're just slowly going to sink into hell, sink into endless copes like alcohol or drugs. And next thing you know, you have fucking liver cancer or you're getting fucking arrested because you fucking like took too much fucking MDMA or something in your room and you raped your neighbor. I don't know. I don't think MDA does that. But coping has a cost. There's better copes than others, but there are some copes that are just so self-destructive that it's not worth it. It's really unwise to engage in sort of those things, like especially the drugs or alcohol. I feel like alcohol is actually worse than drugs because alcohol is ubiquitous. It's kind of a headache to get your hands on drugs. You can fucking find alcohol in 5 minutes if anywhere in the United States. You can fucking get wasted in the next half an hour and ruin your fucking life by getting behind a vehicle or doing some stupid shit. And I've seen this before. I've seen how men cope with alcohol. I used to know this guy. He used to get really drunk and tackle mailboxes in my neighborhood. He used to tackle mailboxes to the ground because he was just so frustrated with his fucking life. Now, this was the funniest shit I ever seen in my life when it was happening, but looking back, like, he was really fucked up. And he would never ever do that shit like normal. It was like sober, but when he got drunk, it did something to his neurochemistry. It turns him into a beast. And you can't let that beast out because it's gonna ruin your life. Unfortunately, I won't really go into it, but that man that I was speaking of, he did go on to completely ruin his fucking life. He completely ruined his life. It's kind of sad, and I won't tell that story here, share his business here, but it's just an example of how coping can become just self-destruction. It's not coping anymore. It's not functional anymore. It's just like it's even worse than like the fucking shit you're trying to cope from, if it gets that bad. So, yeah, I definitely would avoid alcohol. Um, you know, I just feel like back to my Ted Kaczynski point. Um, he wrote a lot about technology kind of displacing humans, and I think we are seeing that today. I feel like as technology becomes more and more advanced, the average person just becomes less and less valuable to society. You have less leverage in society when a fucking machine can do your job. Like think about like before the automobile, how like if you could break horses, how much leverage you would have in your community. But if you can do that today, almost no one cares. I don't even think they don't even think they catch wild horses anymore. They just raise them. Like it's a useless skill now. You could have made a livelihood 100 years ago, 150 years ago doing that. Today, like, no one cares. It's not valuable anymore. Like, how many skills are analogous to that are going to be replaced by machines, you know? I think about all the people who, like, work at fucking McDonald's, like, frying fries or taking orders at the window. A machine can totally do that. They already have, like, the big ass iPad things that you can tap on and order your shit. And I think they did a study. It said people spent more money when they used the cubicle or the terminal than when they talked to a human. Like, they have financial incentives to get rid of you. Like, it doesn't just save the money, it makes money. It's not even just cutting costs, it's actually fucking making money. And what's gonna happen to these guys when there's no fucking job opportunities because their education is worthless, their skills are worthless, they've been displaced by machines? Uh, I don't know. Are they gonna be we're just gonna have a bunch of guys living in the woods in cabins, fucking plotting their revenge or something? I don't know. Maybe some will just be hermits, be a mountain man, live off the land, live in harmony with nature. But not everyone's gonna do that. Some people are legit gonna fucking just get on fentanyl and fucking rob a liquor store for $20. Sad times. Sad times, guys.